Story 1. The fact that in America, you have no idea what your healthcare bill is going to be when you are finished being treated. You show up, get diagnosed, get treated, and then get absolutely surprised when your bill comes. In no other circumstance could you be facing tens of thousands of dollars or way more for a purchase or service without knowing exactly what you were going to be getting and what is charged for what. Plus, if you were facing tens of thousands of dollars in services and goods, you could also compare and contrast and get different bids from different providers. That's not how it works here. It's truly awful and broken. Story 2. United States tax time. They say they do not know how much you owe and that it is your job to figure it out and make sure it is handled. However, if you make a mistake and do not pay enough, they somehow know you made a mistake and come after you. Story 3. Working for the rest of your life to get maybe 10 years to enjoy your 30-plus years of hard work at an age where you have minimal energy to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Story 4. People having a toxic one-sided relationship with celebrities, streamers, politicians, or internet celebrities and being willing to defend them to the death and base their entire personality around them. Story 5. Homework for kids. They go to school for 7 to 8 hours, then have to come home and do more work. That is like adults going to work for 8 hours and then bringing work home with them. Let them be kids because it goes by so fast. Story 6. One thing that is considered normal but really messed up is the way we often accept workaholism as a badge of honor. People where being busy all the time is a sign of success, but it can actually lead to burnout and negatively affect mental health. Story 7. Individuals who take a child to a reptile convention and impulsively buy that cute lizard or snake, only to discover that the cute baby requires a lot of work just to release or abandon the animal. This infuriates me to no end. Story 8. One thing that always gets me is the idea of working long hours just to make ends meet. It's considered normal in many places to sacrifice your personal life and well-being for a job, but when you really think about it, it's pretty messed up that so many people have to work themselves to the bone just to afford basic necessities. It feels like society prioritizes productivity over people's health and happiness. We should be able to live comfortably without having to grind nonstop. What's your take on this? Story 9. Absolutely no consequences for knowingly lying to millions of people over and over and portraying your lies as statements of truth and reporting of facts. I think people should be able to have whatever wrong opinion or stance they like. But I don't think it should be legal to falsely claim you are reporting news when you clearly aren't. Story 10. People feeding children under age 5 fast food and soft drinks. My mind is blown every time I see it. Not that any children should be eating it except occasionally. Story 11. The intensity of sports for kids. People around me spend $5,000 a season per kid for sports. Everyone I know travels. I had to search high and low for a basic no-nonsense little league-type sport for my daughter. Kids' sports have become insane. Story 12. The overall amount of waste and excess with everything. There is so much plastic used for pretty much everything, excessive amounts of sugar and preservatives in many foods, health problems that could be fixed with simple solutions like diet and the food we are eating, but instead, we are pumping our bodies full of medications for diseases that are totally preventable and even curable. Story 13. Society expects you to spend 80,000 to 100,000 hours over the course of your life working so some rich person can watch their bank balance go up while tossing you a few pennies for your time. Story 14. The Bachelor or Bachelorette. A group of people who have never met the prize before all gather to compete for the monogamous love of someone in essentially a polyamorous relationship. He can be intimate with all of you but not tell the others, and he or she manages the drama you bring about with the other contestants. Also, the series of dates is pretty messed up too. The final 3 episodes go in this order: meet their families, fantasy suites, proposal, who wins. So when your dad meets the prize, he is basically hoping she wins a chance to be with the man he just met, who may or may not marry her. Super weird. I could write a whole TED Talk on this. My family is super into this, but it is just so weird to me. Story 15. Even if you're in the right, if the other person dies, the police and its system will still send you to jail. This happened to my late father. He used to be a private driver. One day, a child, about 14 or 15 years old, was left unattended by his family and walked to the highway. Suddenly, he ran into the middle of the street, and my father's car bumped into him, and the child passed away. It was a highway. As far as I know, there is a certain speed that drivers have to follow when driving there. Obviously, there were no crosswalks, and the child appeared out of nowhere. The police encouraged the family of the child to sue my father. That was another factor that made me so mad because they did not care about ruining one's family and a person's life just for a mere quota. Fortunately for us, the man my father was working for had money and helped us to settle. The incident happened during his working hours, and he was on his way to pick up his boss's daughters. I don't know how much they gave to that family, but it was a bag of cash. I clearly remember my mother pleading with the police and saying, "No, you don't get it. I have the money right here. Just take it." Because the police were insisting that we were not capable of giving any money and kept encouraging the other family to sue. They probably thought we did not have any money because we looked middle class. However, my mother showed them the cash, and the other family eventually accepted. This happened years ago, and both my father and mother have already passed away, but it still makes me mad. My father did not do anything wrong. He was innocent. If luck hadn't been on our side and my father's boss had run away, my father would have been in jail for something he didn't intentionally do. Our family would be ruined. I highly believe that suing right back would have been the right action because of the audacity of that family. They left their child alone. It was their fault for not taking care of their family member properly. It was a highway. It was illegal jaywalking. Instead, they wanted my father to take all the blame just because he was passing through. I told my mother about suing back, but she said no because all she wanted was for my father to go home. If we fought back, it would take us longer to get him out of that detention center or jail, and even though I was very mad, I agreed with her. We were so scared that our father would take a beating inside. It's normal here in the Philippines to receive news that one's relative in prison gets bullied or beaten, and we cannot do anything about it. And the only thing that kept that from happening was when my mother visited my father. She made sure to bring additional snacks to share with the prisoners in my father's cell and would tell them to take care of him. They did. My father was very kind. He's like a big teddy bear. Everyone here would say the same thing. He's the type to go quiet when someone messes with him and would just walk away, even though he's a black belter and very capable. All because of this corrupt justice system in the Philippines. That gentle soul was almost sentenced to life in prison. Story 16, Halloween, or at least the modern version of it. Why do people enjoy celebrating fear, pain, terror, blood, gore, and death for an entire month? I really do not understand it. Story 17. They have enough resources in the world to give everyone a decent life, but our divisions and greed are keeping us away. As a civilization, we can be so much more, but we are mired in the lowest of the low.